On today's episode of Phinside The NFL, did Odell Beckham Jr. quit on the Miami Dolphins as they try to get back to 500 and stay in the playoff race? We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll preview the Miami Dolphins Week 15 game against the Houston Texans as Tua Tagovailoa and CJ Stroud face off for the first time in their careers. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. You know what time it is. Let's get into this.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it!
You have got to be kidding me.
Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score!
Field on the near side, man open, touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep. It's not over the touchdown again.
Tagovailoa driving. Pick up for it, fires to the end zone, touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We're back here for another one. Appreciate all of you coming through on this Friday as we get ready for the Miami Dolphins to take on the Houston Texans in Houston in a key Week 15 matchup in terms of keeping their playoff hopes alive and relevancy for the season alive. So we'll get into all of that in just a little bit. Obviously, the big story of the day, Odell Beckham Jr. and the Miami Dolphins have mutually parted ways. We are going to discuss and dive into that because I'm going to make the case that this man quit on the Miami Dolphins. It's not just about mutually parting ways, and we'll talk about all of that and so much more. I need you to do me a favor as you come through. Smash that like button. Well over 100 of you in the room already. Smash it, smash it, smash it. Let me know you're here. It really helps the channel. So smash that like button. If you are new here, subscribe as we're on our way to 20K. Let's get into a few things. First of all, Thursday Night Football. Wow, what a snooze fest, huh? Wow. And let's talk about this. The Rams beat the 49ers 12-6. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, the issue we got here for all you Tua haters is the Rams are all of a sudden 8-6. How you like this one? Check this one out. You ready for this? I'll do you even one better, baby. The Rams have won 7 of their last 9 games. Their only losses at home to the Dolphins and at home to the Eagles. Now we know what everyone thinks of the Eagles this year and how good they are. All of a sudden, they're a team above 500. Now, what's the narrative? What's the narrative now? We beat them in their house on the road. They had won 3 straight coming into the game where we beat them. I told everyone they're a better team than everyone's getting credit for. They won 3 straight before we beat them. They beat the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Seahawks. Then we beat them. Then they beat the Patriots. Then they lost to the Eagles. Now they beat the Saints, the Bills, and the 49ers. We beat a good team. And a Shanahan disciple. You want to have the conversation now? Huh? There goes one narrative, bruh. It's unbelievable. I love it. I love it. And Robert hits him even better. I hit him with the left jab. Here comes Robert with the right uppercut to finish it off. And in prime time, no less. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Come on. We beat a playoff team and a team over 500 at their house in prime time. Oh, baby. You got to love it. You gotta absolutely love it. So, that game though yesterday, ouch. Let me tell you that. Ouch. 12-6. Like, this is a high-scoring baseball game. You know, that's what I said. This is a high-scoring baseball game. So, let's keep it rolling, though. Mike McDaniel, he hinted that Bradley Chubb could return next week. Mike McDaniel said today on Bradley Chubb, the ultimate goal is to have him completely convicted and confident in his play. I'm more ready for next week. So are we going to see Bradley Chubb against the 49ers? We could very well see. And you got to ask yourself, is Bradley Chubb at 60 or 70% better than anything we have in Quentin Bell and where Emmanuel Ogba's at right now, et cetera, et cetera? And the answer would probably be yes. And now OBJ has also opened a roster spot. Now, I would assume Chubb gets it over Cam Good. I wouldn't, I don't see what the rush is to activate Cam Good. And yes, also, OBJ wasn't the only player to quit on his team. Yesterday, Devondre Campbell quit on his team. And now apparently you had Charvarius Ward called him out after the game, and you have Shanahan basically saying they're looking to get rid of him today. So I don't know, 'tis the season. You got Shaq Barrett wanting to return from quitting. So does Jason Pierre-Paul. And then you got the other guys want to quit to get their ways out of certain situations. But yeah, Devondre Campbell basically quit on his team at halftime too. Which is, I don't know what's going on. Because, I mean, you're talking about a guy in Green Bay who had 146 tackles in 16 games, 96-13 the year after, 11-75. Like, he was somewhat happy in Green Bay. I'm shocked. I don't know what's going on. So, I have no idea what's going on over there. Robert says, is it National Quitters Week? I don't know what's going on, but I ain't going to quit on y'all. And get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Patrick Paul is going to start this week because we'll get in the injury report, but I'll tell you early on, Armstead's listed as doubtful, and Lamb is banged up. Lamb's out here talking today about taking a shot to see if he can work through the pain. We'll get into the numbers. Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter are no joke. And we got a beat up right tackle who's naturally a left tackle. And then we got a rookie. And we already got a questionable interior thanks to Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg. And it's going to get even worse. Oh, man, we'll see. But, yeah, we got a lot to get into today. A lot to talk about. We're going to start off with all the OBJ stuff. But before we get into all of that, just so you guys know, this episode is sponsored by BetUS. All right, go over to BetUS right now. They've got the Dolphins as 3-point underdogs against the Texans this week. So if you believe the Dolphins are going to continue to keep their playoff hopes alive, if they're going to continue their winning ways and do it against a CJ Stroud who's in kind of a sophomore slump, a Houston Texans defense that's down Jalen Petrie and Al-Sajid Shahir, go take that bet because use promo code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. And BetUS will match your first three deposits by 150% up to $2,000. Some of the quickest payouts in the industry, 24/7 customer service. Shout out to BetUS for supporting the channel. Go use promo code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. And just always remember to gamble responsibly. All right, now, OBJ. Let's dive on into this. First of all, I had someone in the chat say they believe OBJ to the Chiefs. Makes sense. Where do I think OBJ goes? The Rams make sense. But do they really? Because then you got Kupp and Puka Nacua. He's right back to being third fiddle. Did playing first fiddle in Baltimore last year give him a little bit of spry in his step, thinking he's in number one? Is he going to go back to Baltimore? Maybe. San Francisco makes sense, but they're loser. They're not going to be contenders. They could use him right now because they're down Brandon Ayuk. I don't know where he goes. I know we'll get into it all, but there are rumors right now, but the Chiefs do make sense. They're about to get Hollywood Brown back too. I just want to say this, to say all that to say this. Did I or did I not warn everyone that Malik Washington would be an impact player? And I literally said, before we got OBJ and after we got OBJ, I said Malik is going to vie for that third wide receiver spot. My narrative did not change. I stood 10 toes down on that the whole time. And now look at what the deal is. They're basically telling you, we want to invest in Malik. Yeah, you're good to go. But anyways, let's get into it because we do have a lot to cover with it because there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. So let's start off with what happened and what broke this morning. The Dolphins and three-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. have mutually agreed to part ways per sources. Beckham is hoping for more opportunities elsewhere, and the team is granting his release. He'll be on waivers until Monday. Tom Pelissero then followed that up with this. Odell Beckham Jr.'s release is expected to be official today. If he clears waivers, he will be free to sign with any team. Two teams he has played for with before the Rams and Ravens are currently in playoff contention. So he wants to go to a playoff team when we're in a playoff race right now. He wants to go to a playoff team. Yeah, hey, we don't have a playoff spot right now, but we are in the playoff race. You're not going to go to Cincinnati. I mean, they got problems paying Higgins and Jamar Chase right now. So and you're going to be third in the pecking order at best again. You know where I want? Is this guy going to go to Buffalo? Is this guy going to go to Buffalo? The Chiefs make sense. The Steelers could use him. George Pickens is hurt right now. Maybe he goes to Pittsburgh. I don't think he's going to the Chargers. I don't think he's going to the Seahawks. Buccaneers, they're banged up at receiver. They could use him, I guess. Vikings don't need him. Addison just went off last week. Packers don't need him. Commanders. I mean, if you go to the Rams, you're going to from a 9th place AFC team to an 8th place, Really, the Chiefs, the Steelers, I guess the Ravens, the Bucks, the Bills, and I guess the Commanders make the most sense if you're looking at playoff teams from the perspective of what he's trying to sell and what he's trying to pitch. But I take this as he quit on us. And I'll tell you why. I played this video October 18th. This is 2 months old. We played this video on this very show. Do you remember? Let me refresh you guys. This was Omar Kelly talking to Odell Beckham Jr. at his locker stall. Check it out.
It was great. It's been a long.
Let me. I knew I forgot something, huh? Always. So this is what. Let me try that one again.
It was great. It's been a long time working out and Snoop over there. It's been a long journey, since the end of last season, going into off season. Again, like I told you, not really knowing what to expect from football and what I wanted to do. So just being able to get back out there after all the hard work, it was fun. It's fun to be able to go out there and get a win. Obviously, you know, the expectations I have for myself, I have to have discussions with myself about what to truly expect.
What did you expect?
You know, I'm always expecting, you know, get the ball, make plays, and that just wasn't it. You know, we was on a pitch count, just kind of to be able to get back into the flow. So yeah, it's all a process. You know, I think the most important thing is finding ways to win, and we did that.
Where are you mentally right now at this point in your career and this point in the season?
I don't know. It's all, you know, it's day to day. It can go up, it can go down, but that's life.
This is after the Patriots win.
Continue
this is
to fight
before the
through,
Colts loss, after the Patriots
some of the
win.
things that I'm battling in my own life. You know, each and every person, no matter how high or how low, we all go through things in life, and the lowest of the lowest and the highs of the highs are the same for everybody. You know, they all hit us the same way. So this is where I'm at right now, is just being where my feet are at, trying to be the best, you know, player I could be with the situation, the best teammate I could be, and that's just really it.
What makes you confident that this team will turn it around?
I think you just got to go off of what they had going on.
Anyways. Okay, we don't need to play the rest of it, you know, and we'll go off what they have last year. I mean, listen to that guy right now. And then, you know, Omar, I don't know what's going on with OBJ, you know, mentally or privately, but, you know, I feel compassion for him. Bro, you could see on his face. Go back to when I first played that clip on this show 2 months ago. I said this guy looks like he doesn't want to be here. And brother, Tua has given you the opportunities. Tua has given you the chances to make plays. You haven't been able to make them. You can't separate. But even still, when you haven't been able to separate, Tua's put the ball on the money, brother. How many times have you dropped it on third down? It was relayed to you like it was relayed to the media and the public. You were here to change the narrative on third down. How many times can we count on? We got to use both hands and all of our toes, and you were only here for 14 weeks, and we can count how many times you let us down on third down. Stop, bro. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this guy quit. He saw Malik, he making the impact, and it's deeper than Malik. I'm going to tell you right now what the issue is. The issue is Jonnu Smith. That's what his issue is. He was supposed to be in Jonnu Smith's position. That's what he thought he would be. He thought he could produce that way still. He's looking at, there's 3 500-plus yard receivers for the first time in McDaniel era, and there's about to be 4 with Achane, and I'm not one of them, and I'm on the team. That's what he's really pissed off about. It's not even so much Malik. It is Jonnu. But brother, we haven't been able to rely on you on single solitary third downs. Look at how we relied on Jonnu in overtime to finish the game off and get the win. What have you done to earn the respect in that locker room? Bro, this isn't 6-7 years ago with you making one-handed catches in the back of the end zone, brother. Those days are long gone. You got to earn every target. You got to earn every opportunity at this stage of your career now. And guess what? You've been given them anyways from Tua, and you've continuously let him, the offense, and the team down. You want the reality of the situation. You got no one to blame when you look in the mirror except yourself. And now I know what Tyreek was talking about. Right? Now, and you were one of the people I named when we did the show a couple weeks ago. All right? And a couple days ago, when Tyreek was calling out certain players on their effort. Right? If your words don't match your effort, get out of here. What were your words, Odell? You were ready to assume the third role. You were ready to make a difference on third down. You were ready to get to work. You're ready to be a playmaker. Man, not only and I named you as a player that should be listening to what Tyreek's saying and that Tyreek could be talking about. Hell, even if Tyreek wasn't directly talking about you, he was indirectly talking about you because your words didn't match your effort. We got Jack Bo Diddley on third down when you sold us the same narrative the team did. So you clearly bought in. Justin says it's not Tua's fault he kept dropping passes. 110%. So, I mean, you're not going to see me shed a tear for Odell Beckham Jr. basically taking his ball and going home. And why am I so gung-ho that I know this guy quit? Let's listen to what Mike McDaniel said about it today.
Like Odell Beckham Jr. being waived, did he come to you guys? Or was it mutual agreement as was reported?
Conversations led us to determining that it was the best for both parties. I think we've been, Odell and I have been very communicative. Since he's been here, he had a tough start in terms of having to rehab his way into the season, and then just looking at it as simple as all right, what's the best for both him and the team moving forward, and we just thought it was a good time to go that direction. That was the motivation behind it. That's all.
And did it initiate, if you're able to share this, with Odell coming to you or Chris or his representation, saying it might be best for us to initiate something?
No, it's just our professional communication. He's a professional that has diligently chopped wood, and I know his expectations, and so when you communicate transparently, I can kind of know where he's at, and we normal communication that just kind of led us that direction for the best for both parties, really.
So, first of all, OBJ, like he told you right there, OBJ complained. Right? Conversations led us to determining that it was best for both parties. You really think they approached OBJ and said, hey, we're going to get rid of you? No. OBJ and his agent from Clutch Sports Group, remember, that's the sports group owned by Rich Paul. They represent LeBron James and everything like that, right? Right? That's exactly what happened. Right? Kip's talking about communication. And then he talked about, I know his expectations, so when you communicate transparently, I kind of know where he's at. Normal communication that just kind of led us the direction for best both parties. Odell Beckham told them, like, he's not happy with his role, he's not happy with his usage, and he wants to take his ball and go home. Brother, you've been given opportunities on third down. You've been given opportunities on clutch and key critical downs since Tua's been back. You failed every single time. Except what, once? And guess what? Had you not failed, had you not consistently dropped the ball, had you consistently not been able to make literally a catch on perfect throws, just having to deal with defenders on your hip because you can't separate, which is on you, not the quarterback. Because you couldn't do all of those things, you want to take your ball and go home. Look at how Tua's elevating. Jonnu Smith's having a career year right now. You go ahead, you look at Tyreek Hill and the career years he's had with Tua. You look at what Jalen Waddle's been with Tua. Tua does nothing but elevate. If you put the work in, you're not putting the work in, bro. You think you're going to go somewhere else and be a difference maker? If you couldn't be a difference maker with Tua? Please. Give me a break. And that just further convinces me when you listen to the verbiage that McDaniel uses that Odell approached them and his agent approached them and said, we want out. This is that diva shit. And you're trying to cover it, and someone's joked around about the Diddy stuff. Man, we all know, you know, we've all seen the videos of you and Bieber, bro. Okay? You got things to add. Yeah, I know why you're stressed out in October. Because the walls are starting to close in. I'm just, listen to this guy, man. Like, I'm just, you know, like, you were a waste of time. You were a waste of space. And, like, think of how much time this guy wasted. From the rehab to he's coming back to blah, blah, blah. And, see, that's the thing. We knew there were rumblings early on that he was unhappy with how we put him on IR. Right? We that's when we first started getting a little bit of a hint that OBJ wasn't totally happy, was because his contract, he needed to play to make money, and we put him on IR, and we were basically taking money off of his plate. He needed to be active on Sundays. And he didn't feel like he should have went to IR. And then he comes back, and his play isn't up to par, and he's looking for someone to blame. When, brother, again, let's go. Let's go chop up. You know how many times every Tuesday here where I break down film, I've shown you dropping a third down? So it all started with he didn't like the fact that he went on IR and we basically took money out of his pocket. Then he didn't like the fact of how he was being used. Then he was probably looking for someone to blame because of what his play was on the field. And it just snowballed for him. And it's not like, you know, we're sitting here right now, you know, 8-5 or, you know, like 9-4. So, hey, good riddance, bro. Honestly, good freaking riddance. Didn't take long to see your true colors, man. Like, just like Shaq Barrett, like get out of here. We don't even want you here. Go. And honestly, like, this is why I hope we make the playoffs, to rub it in these people's faces. But at the same time, I do, yes, realize changes need to come. And if we make the playoffs, I don't know if changes are good. Well, you know, I don't know. You know how I feel. I already think McDaniel's probably safe. It's Greer's the one that's got to look out. But anyways, all this said, you know what this leads me to? You already know where we're going. Who's the jabroni of the week? Odell Beckham Jr. You are the jabroni of the week. You wasted this fan base's time. You wasted this franchise's time. You wasted Tua's time where he could have been spending with his family and his kids. Instead, he was giving you reps and working chemistry with you. You are the jabroni of the week. I played the clip back from October. I was already questioning you back in October if your heart was in this. And now, the fact that you mutually part ways, but then Tom Pelissero's reporting you're looking to go to a playoff contender. What does that tell me? You're a baby. You took your ball and you went home. You quit on this team in the most critical time of the season. You're a quitter. And this is why you'll never be a Super Bowl champion, because that's a loser's mentality. This team's a game away from going 500 and 2 games away and beating 2 good teams in that span and getting to where they need to be. And you decided to quit. That's a loser mentality. And I hope River Craycraft gets all of your opportunities and makes the most of them. And I hope Malik Washington continues to thrive so you look like even bigger of a loser in this situation. Because right now, that's what you look like, Odell. You look like a fucking loser. I'm sorry. And yeah, I know he won with the Rams, but guess what? How much did he really play in that game? Right? He got hurt on the first drive, made the touchdown, made the touchdown catch, and then he was out for the rest of the game. And you know what? We all thought it was Lamar holding you back, when now that we've seen you in Miami, it was you holding yourself back. Loser mentality. So that's my jabroni of the week. Get him out of here. Good riddance. At least River can block too. You can't even block. All right. Continuing on here, let's get into this week's matchup, because we got the Dolphins and we got the Texans week 15. Enough of that, Jabron. All right. So here is what we're looking at from a weather standpoint. I mean, we're good. There's a slight chance of fog and showers in the area. A high of 78, a low of 75. But guess what? Here's why it don't matter. Because NRG Stadium has a retractable roof. So it's not a dome. It has a retractable roof. So we'll be good. Right? It can fog like it's London in the 1700s all at once out there. It can rain all at once. But we'll be good because we got a retractable roof. So there you go. But if you're walking to the game, parking far away, whatever, make sure to bring an umbrella because you never know, it might be raining. All right. Now, here is the injury report for the final injury report heading into the game. So, right now, D. Eskridge is out. He will not be back for this game. Taron Armstead is doubtful. So, yes, Patrick Paul is probably going to be good to go. Bradley Chubb is questionable. Grant Dubois, questionable. Blake Ferguson, questionable. Cameron Good, questionable. Kendall Lamb, questionable. I think Kendall Lamb will go. We might see Blake Ferguson back. He had a non-football illness. I wonder what happened. He's been full, so he'll be good to go this week. Bradley Chubb, it seems like it'll be next week more if he's good to go. But hey, if you lose this week, what's the point? Right? When you look at the Houston Texans, Juice Scruggs is out for them. Nick Broker and Kenyon Green are questionable. Nick Broker just showed up with it today with a hand injury. Jamal Hill, he's questionable. Christian Harris is questionable, but Danico Autry is good to go. Nico Collins is good to go. Joe Mixon's good to go. Tunsil's good to go. Robert Woods is good to go. So, but the Scruggs injury, that is obviously, that could be huge. That's their starting center right now. So, that could be a decently big loss for them. But, we'll get into their offensive line because he has been up and down. But that means they're going to probably be starting. He's been starting at left guard for them, I think. Yeah, I think he's been starting at left guard. So, I think that means Jared Patterson will be starting at center, and then at left guard they'll have Kendrick Green. So, yeah, Juice Scruggs has been starting at left guard for them. So, starting at center and guard. So, that's their injury report for this week. Patrick Paul, man, that's we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna show you why that's big. Recent thoughts on River as the third wide receiver, A-Chance slot, and feed Mozart Wilson 20 plus times. I think Malik is a better third receiver right now than River. I think he does a lot of things Ray River does. Other than the muff punt, he's been pretty reliable. He's faster. He's a better athlete than River Craycraft. I think Achane, you can run him out of the backfield or slot. I think you gotta feed Mostert and Jalen Wright, not Wilson. That's just my opinion. So how do these teams stack up heading into this week? All right. When you look at how they stack up right now, the Dolphins are 19th in total offense, averaging about 331.8 yards per game. All right. Now, you know what? Because I haven't done it in a while. Why does this matter? This matters because look at what we were when Tua came back. All right. If you go back to the Cardinals game, right, and you look at what this team was against the Cardinals, I mean, it just wasn't a good situation. Like, what wasn't a good situation at all in terms of the team when you stacked up, right? Like, I mean, at that time, we were 22nd in total offense, right? We were averaging about 308 yards per game. And now, you look at where we're at, we're averaging 331, we're 19th. We climbed a little bit. You look at we passing, and the Texans, they're 18th. They're averaging about 335. Passing, we're 14th in the NFL, 226. When Tua came back, we were 27th in the NFL. We were averaging about 179.5 yards per game. Texans are 17th, averaging 221.2. Rushing, we are 24th. Now we have fallen off there. Coming into the Arizona game, we were 11th in the NFL, averaging 128.7 yards per game. Now we're 24th, averaging 105.2 per game. And that's because last 2 weeks you've averaged 49. You got 49 yards in one game against the Jets and 39 in the other against Green Bay. That's going to crush you. But you look at what the Texans do, and they can run the ball, 114.1 yards per game, 16th in the NFL. Scoring offense, Texans are finding a way to score 23.7 points per game. We're at 20.3, which is 23rd, which, again, when Tua came back against Arizona, we were 32nd in the NFL. We were averaging 11.7 points per game when Tua came back. Now we're averaging 20.3. Think about that. You look at sacks allowed. Our offense allowed 32. Their offense is allowed 42. On third down, the Dolphins are 14th best in the NFL. They convert at about 39% clip. The Texans convert at about 37.1 clip, 21st in the NFL. Total defense, the Texans are 5th. The Dolphins are 9th. The Texans have the 7th best passing defense, 198.8. Well, we saw how that worked out last week for for those good old Jets, right? Didn't work out too good for the Jets when, the Miami Dolphins took care of that, right? The Jets were the number 2 passing defense. They're allowing 174.9 yards per game. The Texans are allowing, when you look at the Texans right now and where they're at, they are allowing about 198.8 yards per game. Texans have the 10th best rushing defense, allowing about 109.7 yards per game. 12th best scoring defense, allowing about 22.2 yards per game. They have the second most sacks in the NFL at 42. Now, we're also coming off a game where the Jets had the 5th most sacks in the NFL at 37. Third down defense, when you see it here, they're 6th in the NFL, allowing a 34.7 conversion clip. The Dolphins are 4th in the NFL, allowing a 34.4 conversion clip. And look at the Dolphins. They're 11th against the pass, 7th against the run, 14th scoring defense, but they're 30th in sacks. Takeaways, Texans have the 3rd most, 24. Dolphins have 11, 23rd in the NFL. Giveaways, Dolphins only have 13, 10th most. They have 14th, which is tied for 12th. So that's how these teams stack up heading into this week. So Man, yeah, it's interesting to see like how much Tua's raised the offensive numbers since he's, like it's crazy. We were scoring just over 11 points a game without him. That's crazy. That's nuts. And even that number's been boosted because of the Jacksonville game, the points we put up. That's crazy. Wow. So, shout out to Tua, man. He is a difference maker, no matter what people try to tell you. So let's get into our keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins in Week 17. All right. Let's start off with the offensive keys. So you got to slow down a top tier pass rush this week. Miami can't allow a 16 pressure, 5 sack performance like they did against Green Bay. Houston has the second most sacks in the NFL with 42. Daniel Hunter has 10.5. Will Anderson has 9.5. Tim Settle has 5 from the interior. Houston has 233 pressures, which is top 10 in the NFL, with 54 from Hunter, 43 from Anderson Jr., and 29 from Tim Settle alone. Lamb has been mediocre, and he's banged up right now. Armstead is doubtful, so that means Patrick Paul is going to be playing. This could be a rough day for the offensive line. Tim Settle, I mean, we were talking about the issues with the interior right now. Liam Eichenberg and Robert Jones. Tim Settle has 5 sacks and 29 pressures in the interior. Hunter and Anderson could make life real hard for Lamb and Patrick Paul. You have to find a way to slow down a top-tier pass rush this week. This could be... you can't have a 16 pressure, 5 sack performance again like you did against Green Bay. Those were the most allowed all season. Number 2 for me, Jonnu Smith. He is a mismatch for the Texans defense. In 3 of their 5 losses, they faced good tight ends. Tucker Kraft for Green Bay had 3 catches, 33 yards, and a touchdown. Green Bay won 24-22. Sam Laporta was the leading Lions receiver with 66 yards and a touchdown on 3 catches in Detroit's 26-23 win. And Chig Okonkwo had 1 reception for an eventual game-winning 70-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter for the Titans. They won 32-27. Say his name 5 times fast. And you look at former Alabama linebacker in Houston, Tua. He allowed Laporta's touchdown in coverage and Okonkwo's 70-yard touchdown too. They aren't great at the second level with linebackers or safeties covering tight ends, especially with Petrie out. Since the Bills game in Week 9, Jonnu Smith's 436 receiving yards, that's number 1 amongst all tight ends in the NFL. His 270 of those yards being after the catch is best amongst tight ends since Week 9. His 4 receiving touchdowns since Week 9 are tied for the most in the NFL amongst tight ends. He has 0 drops since Week 9. The most first downs amongst tight ends since Week 9 is Jonnu with 26. Oh yeah, he's 100 yards away from breaking Randy McMichael's franchise record for receiving yards by a tight end in a single season. He sits at 692 yards, and he's chasing McMichael's 791 that he put up in 2004. So, guess what? Jonnu's a mismatch. Laporta, Kraft, and Okonkwo have proven that. And if 202's in coverage, you know you're going to lit up, right? So, and there's no Shahir. So, and then number 3 for me is a different one. McDaniel may have to get creative. This team can't run the ball right now. You know, you allowed the Jets to hold you to 44 yards on 19 carries, and the Green Bay Packers to hold you to 39 yards on 14 carries. It's hit a complete and utter wall and low point. It's especially ugly inside the red zone and on short yardage situations. We may need more of those creative end arounds, front flick tosses, fake screens to extend or finish drives off this week. You drew a flag last week on the fade to Tyreek, but you need better and higher percentage throws in the red zone. We cannot afford to be settling for field goals. So you need to slow down a top tier pass rush led by Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter. Jonnu Smith is a mismatch against this defense, like Laporta was, like Kraft was, and just like Okonkwo was. So those are my keys to victory. Jonnu have a big game, slow down their pass rush, and get creative in the red zone and to finish drives off. And also, even with your run blocking and getting yards on the ground, you're going to have to get creative. Now, when we get into the defensive keys this week, here we go. You got to take advantage of a leaky offensive line. Stroud's completion percentage drops from 69.9% when kept clean to 47.7% under pressure. He's been sacked 42 times, which is the second most in the NFL right now. Like, the pressures are coming and they're working. The right side is especially leaky. Shaq Mason's allowed 32 pressures at right guard. Titus Howard has allowed 30 at right tackle. That's 65 of the team's 165 pressures allowed have come from those two players on the right side. And when you go a little deeper, Shaq, right? When you look at Shaq Mason and this year and what he's allowed, it's not been pretty. He's allowed 8 sacks. In fact, their whole interior line is susceptible to sacks. Kenyon Green has allowed 5. I know Scruggs is out, but he allowed 5 this year. Houston's 26 in pass block win rate. 55%. That's terrible. Sealer, Chop, and Calais could have a big game. I think you also got to continue to use Ramsey in some of your blitz packages like you have. I really do. You know, I think Ramsey could create some issues for them big time. So, yeah, you got to take advantage of a leaky offensive line. You got to have sound gap integrity, and you got to contain Joe Mixon. All right. You know, like right now, Joe Mixon. Look at this. It's just a rifle off. Jacksonville, 20 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. 2 weeks before that, 20 carries, 109, 3 touchdowns against Dallas. Against New York, 24 carries, 106, and a touchdown. Against Indianapolis, 25 carries, 102, and a touchdown. Against Green Bay, 25 carries, 115, 2 touchdowns. Against the Patriots, 13 carries, 102, and a touchdown. Indianapolis, 30 carries, 159, and a touchdown. If you look at him this week, ladies and gentlemen, this year so far, he's played 10 games. Okay? Only 3 of those games he has under 100 yards. He already has 11 touchdowns. And guess what? He has 0 fumbles. He already has 46 first downs. His career long came this year, 59 yards. So right now, he's playing good football. And the 59 yards came against New England. Joe Mixon's playing good football right now. Okay? And you need to contain him and keep him under lock because he's averaging 4.3 yards per carry. Now, he's not so much a receiving threat. He'll kind of catch a touchdown here or there. But he has like a career high of 62 yards. He only has 27 yards this year. So he's not going to, but he'll pound, he'll ground and pound, man. So you got to contain Joe Mixon. And number 3, it's time to get some turnovers. Jordan Love is averaging 1.2 interceptions a game, and you got none. Stroud has the 5th most turnovers in the NFL with 9 interceptions and 3 lost fumbles. He has 5 interceptions in his last 4 games alone. He had 2 against the Lions, and then he had 2 in week 12 against the Titans. Miami hasn't forced an interception or a fumble since week 12 against the Patriots. So you got a guy who he's having fumble issues. He's having interception issues. Again, Jordan Love is averaging 1.2 interceptions a game. You got none. Stroud, when you look at right now where he's at, talking about a guy right now with 12 turnovers. And he's played 13 games. So he's averaging just under a turnover a game. Right? About 0.92 turnovers per game. So just under a turnover a game. So you got a leaky line that's allowing pressures and sacks. Right? He's been sacked the second most times in the NFL. His Stroud's completion percentage drops from 69.9 when he's kept clean to 47.7 under pressure. The right side is just an issue for them right now. They have the 26 pass block win rate. Take advantage of a leaky line. You got to have sound gap integrity and contain Joe Mixon. He's only had 3 games this season where he didn't break 100 yards. He's had a bunch of multiple touchdown games. And you got to get some turnovers against a guy who is averaging almost a turnover a game. So those are my keys to victory on offense and on defense for the Miami Dolphins this Friday. And what's my playoff? What's my matchup to watch with the playoffs on the line for the Miami Dolphins this weekend? It's got to be CJ Stroud versus Tua Tagovailoa. First time they are ever meeting in their career. CJ struggling a little bit this year, obviously, right? 13 games. He's thrown for 3,117 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. While you look at Tua, he hasn't played as many games, right? He's only played 9, but he's already at 24, 56, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. And he has a passer rating already and a QBR compared to Tua that's higher, right? You look at right now, Stroud has a passer rating of 87.9. Tua has a passer rating of 107.4. QBR for CJ Stroud is 52.9. For Tua, it's about 63.2. It's actually Tua has the 3rd highest QBR of his career right now. So, you know, which guy is going to make less mistakes? Who's going to make more big-time throws? Who's going to make the 1 or 2 more plays than the other guy? Who is going to be clutch in key moments? You know, and it's going to be a little bit more on Tua than Stroud because we know with Mixon, they can run the ball. Yes, we know Achane can run the ball, Wright can run the ball, and Mostert can run the ball, but we do not know what they're going to be able to do on a weekly basis because of the lack of consistent push we get from the run game. So realistically, more of the offensive weight is probably going to be on the shoulders of Tua Tagovailoa than it will be on CJ Stroud this week. And listen, how do I see this game going? What's my prediction for this game? It's tough because, they haven't proven to me that they can consistently beat good teams, but they're hurting right now. No Jalen Petrie, no Al-Shahir, Shaziz Al-Shahir. Like they're hurting right now. I do think our offense is going to be able to put up points. Is our defense going to be able to stop the leak? I do think there's a good chance this is probably a shootout. So, it's going to be a tough one this weekend. I don't know, man. I don't know if I see us winning both these games. If I'm looking for a score prediction, my heart says Dolphins 33-30. My head says Texans 29-27. I'm going to go with my heart, though. Got to go with the heart on this one. Lead with the heart. Lead with the heart. Let's go, Dolphins. Come on, baby. Fins up, baby. Let's get this dub. Let's get this dub. That's where I'm at. Chop needs to have a big game. Sealer needs to have a big game. Bunch of guys need to have big games this week. There ain't no doubt about it. There's just no doubt about it. We need some big games this week from some big players. We need them to be big in big moments. Man, I'm hoping. Man, like I hope they get this done. I really do. I really do. And, again, we need special teams. We need to be good on all three phases for this for these to finish out the season here. To stand a chance, we need to be good on all four phases. Special teams can't have any mistakes. Defense got to do its job. And offense got to take care of business. And we got to find some way, somehow to run the football. Because if you can't run the football, I don't know how far you expect to really go in the December and January months. Let alone, I wouldn't even be worried about February. But, man, it's, just, don't get off to a bad start. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't be your own worst enemy from the moment kickoff happens. Just don't. It's not like you're going to be missing Odell Beckham Jr. The guy played 9 games, had 9 receptions and 55 yards and no touchdowns. It's not like you're going to be missing him. Right? If anything, y'all should feel relieved. Y'all should be feeling, okay, you don't believe in us? You want to dip on us? Go. We'll show you. So, let's go. Let's take care of business in Houston. Richmond will be there. This could be a big game for Jonnu. When you look at what Tucker Kraft, Laporta, and Okonkwo did to that defense, especially that second level, right? So, let's go. Let's handle our business. Let's get this W. And sayonara, OBJ. Ain't gonna miss you. Not like you made a difference. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting me, supporting the channel. Shout out to BetUS for powering this video. Go use promo code YouTube150 over at BetUS to get your first 3 deposits matched by 150%. up to $2,000. Shout out to BetUS, and shout out to each and every one of you for coming through. For all my subscribers that are channel members and my Patreons, I'm probably going to have a 3 takes coming for you guys this weekend. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Again, smash that like button. It goes a long, long way. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see all of you on Sunday for the Texans and the Dolphins. Until then, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day, baby. We'll see y'all on the next.